Hey, this is Chris Creekmore, Creekmore Realty Group at the coast of North Carolina, and I am joined by my several members that are on the team. This webinar, just while I've got just a minute before I actually hit the start button, this webinar is going to be a part of this is our buyer series, and the we're going to have every second week of the month. And if you go onto, you'll see the websites. If you go onto retire2nc.com or creekmorerealtygroup.com, you will see a list, hit the events page, and you'll see the events of the webinars that we have. But we will, each month, we will have a webinar dedicated just for people who want to learn tips and tricks and things about selling their property. And then this one, which is dedicated for the topic of buyer. So my team and I, we were talking, and we take quite a bit of time explaining the North Carolina contracts to our clients when we're going through the progression of identifying property and getting it all the way to closing. And we thought that this webinar might be helpful such that you're not as, or the viewers of this webinar may not be as confused or maybe as stressed when your agent, hopefully your agent is us, but we understand people who are on this webinar may not have made a decision who they want to help them represent them. But the goal is to inform, educate, and reduce stress for what ultimately should be an absolutely happy time for. All right, new construction. I'm going long. I apologize. Nobody's left yet, so I'm hoping that this is informative, but I've only got a few more slides and then we're going to be done. So new construction. This is different from your typical offer to purchase. Okay, although a typical offer to purchase does apply. These new construction documents are for the main reason if the buyer, the buyer does not own the land, the seller owns the land. This is very important. And also the builder is using their money for the construction, not what we call a construction to perm, or you're paying cash for the construction. So very important to know that. And that typically you've got three types of contracts when you're buying new construction. One contract that is presented by the builder and the representative of the builder, or two different North Carolina forms. Okay, this particular form, which is a form that is used when the house has probably not even been started, okay, or the house is halfway along, and then the builder says, okay, yeah, I'll sell the house to you, and I'll give you the option to change all the appliances in the house, okay, which is quite an expense. And then we've got trigger events. So again, this contract, this one right here, which was offered to purchase new contract, new construction, which is known as 800T. There will not be a test later. I just want you to be aware of it. The 800T is what we use when the house is barely even started or not even started at all. A trigger event deposit. That trigger event deposit may be when you are 3 days after the effective date, or 3 days after your pre-construction evaluation, or upon foundation of the property. So the other option is if you are buying a house that is just a few days from being completed, and you said to the seller, here, I'll offer you this amount of money, but I want you to change out all the lighting fixtures in the kitchen to it. There is a line item in your standard offer to purchase contract that says a builder deposit. So let's say the lighting fixtures cost $2,500, and the builder says, all right, I will sell it to you, but I need $2,500 for the lighting fixtures. Then that's where that builder deposit would go on the standard offer to purchase.